listening to Fighting Game Follies.
It's the #1 podcast for low-level player opinions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Round 1.
Hello to all my mashers, grapplers, and set play psychopaths, Wi-Fi warriors, O2ers, tournament organizers, content creators, and everyone else in the entire FGC scope and spectrum. My name is Griefer Games, Ziggy Skyward Games.png, whatever I'm going to be going by for this week's tournament run, and welcome back to another episode of the Fighting Game Follies. Episode 18, 19, I don't know, we're getting close to 25, 25 is close to 50, 50 is halfway to 100, so we're essentially 1/4 of the way to that 100 episode special. But as always, I appreciate you for listening, and thank you so much for tuning in and everything. If you want to hear more of any of my stupid ramblings, you can check the rest of the Fighting Game Follies discography on top of my playlist and YouTube channel, where I talk about other various things and I guess more in depth, less in depth. These are longer than my standard normal video sizes, but I just gloss over 3 topics in rapid succession rather than actually dig deep into it. I don't know, however you want to look at it. If you want to see more of my content, you know where to find me. Twitter, YouTube, all of my socials, all of that. Real quick, I do want to say it is good to be back in the chair after a long week because finals was not fun. And on top of that, I also got hit with a relatively bad cold during finals. So I'm sort of recovering from that. So if I sound more stuffy than I normally sound, or it takes me a second to remember something, then that's your reasoning as to why. But things right now, as it stands, aren't inherently crazy. We're just going to be going over a tiny bit of little news topics and everything that I wanted to necessarily discuss, because funny enough, as it stands, I go away for a week, and then everyone's hey, we're going to drop a bunch of news for you to go and talk about. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Yeah, that it's always when I go away for a week where it's oh yeah, let's just drop a monumental amount of news because it would be fun and hilarious. Also, I don't know if I want to do this now or if I want to do this at the end of the episode, but I want to start a little mini segment in the podcast. I might call the recommended run back, where I just go and give you guys assigned homework to go watch, because I may actually go and reference that video or article, whatever, or something later on. I guess I've sort of already been doing that in the form of when I used to say, oh yeah, this is the recommended homework, but so I guess it's just me actually turning it into a segment into the podcast now. So I'll probably talk about this more at the end of the episode when I'm doing my whole afterthoughts and wrapping up. But if you guys like the idea of that, then let me know in the comments and description or whatever Spotify allows, and also just tweet at me what you would like to see for the recommended run back, or just any content really. As it stands right now, though, it's just sort of an idea on the table. But actually, no, it's not an idea on the table, because there is a recommended run back that I do want to, in fact, give you guys. But I'll talk, like I said, I'll talk about that later at the end. For right now, we should probably talk about the first major important thing, in terms of our 3 little news story, news topic broadcast stuff for right now. That being the fact that there is a Street Fighter beta coming out. And I mean a full open beta, not a demo, because the demo is separate. A fully open beta is coming out May 19th to May 21st. I might not stream it. I'm probably not gonna be able to, because I'm gonna be busy that weekend. You guys might have something some Sunday, maybe. I'm not inherently sure. There will be footage. I am going to record it. I'm gonna record a big session with the rest of the crew and the gang and everybody else. So be on the lookout for that. I am going to record that. I'm probably gonna upload just the raw footage and everything as I guess a little archive stream thing, despite me not streaming it. It's just gonna be 4 hours worth of me and a bunch of other people trying to figure out Street Fighter 6. Because as I've been saying, as I've been preaching, did not get the chance to try out the other 2 betas, which is fine, I guess, because I'm essentially going to be playing the second beta now, but just in a more open format. Since this closed beta, there's nothing changed, despite all of the news that we have gotten from the initial second closed beta all the way up until now. This has nothing changed from that second beta. It's a complete carbon copy paste of it, and they're just giving it to us like now in an open beta format, meaning that nobody has to sign up for it, which I guess is good, but then that sort of like raises an eyebrows like a lot of questions. Like for example, with all of the new characters and everything that we have shown off, characters like JP, Zangief, Cammy, like all of the new characters that we have gotten from that release of the second beta to now, and the fact that they're still deciding to like carbon copy and release like that same like closed beta, I feel like that's kind of like I don't get it, and I'm just sort of not really understanding a lot of the I guess I just don't understand what they're playing at, or like what their whole deal is. What I don't see what their end goal is. If it's to generate hype, then like they've already done that with like the rest of their presentations and everything. But like by this point, it's like, okay, cool. We've generated enough hype. We've gotten the people talking. Let's just give them a little like taste of like the full game. And I feel like that would have been a perfect opportunity to do something like that with the demo. Like obviously you don't want to give, the entirety of the game for free for the demo, because then it's like, oh, well then why don't I just go and play the demo or something. But like I feel like I talked about this already. You just simply could have been like, oh, okay, the demo is going to be open from this point in time until this point in time. It's going to have everything. It's going to have the full game, whatnot, yada, yada, yada. Not the full game, like, like maybe give them an hour's worth of World Tour mode or something, right? But give them like a solid amount of the game, just like enough to where they can mess around and then like be like, oh, okay, cool, I am going to buy this, or I'm not going to buy this, it's not for me, right? And then just come back, just close that demo down afterwards, and then be like, oh, go buy the full game. Like, I feel like that could have been a very simple solution to all of the problems that people have with like the demo only having two characters that barely anybody's going to play, with the beta being like a weekend only thing, because like it just, I don't understand the main goal. I don't understand what Capcom is like sort of playing at here. And since this is going to be like a lot of people's first time really touching the game outside of the demo, or like playing other characters, and you only have like really 3 days to do that, it's gonna sort of blow. I mean, granted, this is like a week before the game actually drops, or like actually, yeah, this is like around a week before the actual game drops, so it's like it's giving you that last little bit of like nugget and stuff before you actually go and buy the game, which is fine, but still, I just don't understand what Capcom is playing at. Because I feel like all of this could have sort of been avoided if they just gave all of the content that was in the second closed beta into the demo, and then just keep the demo as is, and then just like have that be a limited service time thing, like how they're doing now with the beta. But I guess that no, this is just weird. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand what they're playing at. I know I'm like I sound like a broken record. I'm reiterating the same sentence, but oh well. We have this beta. I'm gonna play it obviously, because it's gonna be probably the only time outside of the demo that I'm gonna be able to like really try the game before I have to go and buy it, which I already brought. $100 version, very money well spent, might I add. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to all of the Street Fighter content and everything that I'm going to be focusing on. I'm probably gonna have an episode like later on in the future dedicated like specifically to just all of the characters I would like to see in Street Fighter 6's like roster, or like its end roster by the time that the game is over, because if I remember correctly, or not if I remember correctly, because I'm about to look it up right now, because there's no way anybody can like actually remember this. Uh, Street Fighter 6 or Street Fighter 5's end roster, right? The game's end roster. It was sized relatively well. Like 4, 16, 20, 24. Uh, I can't do math. Oh, that's alright. Yeah, I can't do math. I'm gonna make myself look like a fool on camera. The base roster though, like it had the I think 16, right? One, two, 16. Yeah, had 16 characters in the base roster that were not in the base roster because the actual initial launch for Street Fighter 6 was straight garbage, and then afterwards it released one or it released characters in packs of 5 or 6. Released some in packs of 6. Uh, I'm trying to remember what's the right there, 536, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 46. 46 characters in total. That's honestly, that's like a really solid size. Like, granted, there are some clone characters in there, like, Kage. I was about to call Ken a clone character, but like that man he's gone way too far into like his own character to be considered a clone now. But characters like Kage and 11, they shouldn't really be counted, but like 46 is still a really solid size, especially especially because of the fact that like Street Fighter 6's initial launch was like not really the best. So 46, solid, not horrible, not a horrible like roster to go off of. But that was starting with 16 characters. We're starting with 18 now for SF6, so meaning that we should probably have around like that same like level of like the same amount of characters for like its end roster. So I'm expecting around like maybe 50 characters, maybe like 55, depending on if they want to be generous and continue dropping them in like waves of 4. It's ultimately dependent on what Capcom wants to do, and I'll go more in depth into like the characters that I would like to see. But like I would like to see there are a couple characters that I would really enjoy seeing in this game. So, and you guys are most definitely going to like hear about those characters that I want to see. So be on the lookout for that when that eventually drops. But yeah, that's the Street Fighter news, I guess, for the time being. There's gonna be a demo for May 19th. I'm gonna play it. I'm probably not gonna stream it, but I might stream it. So be on the lookout for that. And just all of the other Street Fighter content that I'm going to be talking about later on in this year, and until this game eventually does like fizzle out and we get a Street Fighter 7. Because ooh boy, I can't wait for Street Fighter 7 to come out in like a decade and a half. But no, in all seriousness, so I really am excited for this demo. I still really don't understand what the whole idea of the demo is supposed to be, but best believe I am going to play it. I'm going to talk about it, give my experiences of it until the game eventually drops. They probably aren't going to be able to polish anything up until like the game is out and about, but oh well, we'll just have to wait and see. But that's the entirety of the Street Fighter news. That's the Street Fighter demo. Be on the lookout for that, and I hope to see you guys all actually playing in that demo.
Round two.
All right, so now we get into that real news, right? No, nobody care about Street Fighter 6. Nobody care about any of that, cause that we getting into real news for real men with real priorities. All right, and I had to make sure that I wasn't getting like bean boozled or anything real quick, before I like start talking about it. But yeah, and this is what I'm like really, really hoping for. So this tweet comes from Cars Kuroshi Myriad on Twitter, right? Shout out for you for tweeting us out. But Under Night in Birth 2 Sistema Celeste was rated through Corier's Game Rating and Administration Committee. So, you're probably sitting there wondering, oh, what does that mean? What is Under Night in Birth 2? So like what I don't know what any of this means, right? First off, shut up, cuz all this really means is that a Under Night in Birth 2 sequel it's real. It's not like 100% real, but like the fact that it was rated through like it was rated through Korea's like game rating system, right? That goes to show that like some people are getting it, and even though it wasn't supposed to be like shown to be rated, it got rated, meaning that this game is like most definitely a possibility, and it's like gonna be coming out soon. Now you guys are probably sitting there like, oh well, I don't really care about this. Also, shut up. I care about this a lot. I think Under Night, like the Under Night in Birth like series, is something that's like really underrated, and I feel like is one of the fighting games that really gets a lot of slack for being too anime-esque. And I also feel like it does the pixel art job that like the older Darkstalker style of like anime fighting games does. I feel like it's sort of upholding that same, I guess, like genre of pixel art that sort of Melty Blood also does really well on top of that. So yeah, French Bread, Arxis, like everybody that's working on this, I'm ecstatic. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm most definitely going to. If more news comes out for this game, best believe I'm talking about it because like I'm sort of like a sleeper Unist fan. Like I know I've talked about it a lot on the channel, but like Unist is like it's a really good game. I find it a lot. It's so much fun. Uh, if I was just better at it, I'd probably like play it more and like do tournaments and everything for it. But this game is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun playing it. I think it's something like I think it is a phenomenal fighting game that's challenging. It's like engaging. It's a lot of fun, and more people need to play it, and more people need to talk about it. So please, if you're interested in it, buy Under Night in Birth, like Control EX Clear, whatever it's called. It's stupid. Like Unis's name system, right, is very dumb, but still, at the end of the day, it's some really good games, and I'm really looking forward to it coming out. And with a second Under Night in Birth game coming out, what this could potentially mean, right? And this might also be another episode in the future that I talk more about, but what this could potentially mean is maybe because like also going off of the patterns that the Arxis Twitter account has been going off of in recent times, like with them just randomly tweeting out stuff about a certain cross-tagged battle. Uh, I'm not gonna say we could potentially get a like 3.0 update. I'm just completely done with tag in general as it stands. Like I feel like the current rendition of tag as it is right now is like dead. That's dead in the water. That's gone. They're not gonna touch that like at all. They're done with like Blaze Blue Cross tag battle. However, I feel like they might do like they could do something where it's like not Blaze Blue cross tag battle, but Under Night cross tag battle. And like that's probably not gonna happen. It's still probably gonna be under the name of Blaze Blue cross tag battle, but I feel like with that a new like Unis game coming out, I feel like there's a lot of things that they could potentially do. And since Unis did in fact like there, I feel like that was a game that should have had a tiny bit of more representation in its like DLC pack. I would have loved to see Phone On. I would have loved to see Chaos, bro. Like that complete chaos Wagner, that would have been like really fun. Eltum, I would have loved to, or actually no, yeah, no, Eltum was not in tag, but there are a lot of characters I would have liked to see in Eunice. There are a lot of characters who, story wise, in Eunice, they haven't gotten the chance to shine, and befitting of a like sort of Arxis anime fighter game, like obviously it's gonna have a very stupid, convoluted, and like and like just very dumb story to follow. Like it's Arxis, bro. Come on, they made Gear, they made Blaze Blue. Obviously, they're gonna like make Eunice, make its story super like dumb and stupid and convoluted. Honestly, I just feel like it is an Arc System thing to have their game's story just be like the most over the top, crazy, extreme, wild. It can never be anything simple. Like it always got to be some 1,000 years ago, like a mage, like came down from the heavens and taught the people how to do magic, and then those who weren't able to do magic was exiled or something. Oh well. But I'm just really excited. I'm really excited for a new Eunice game. Whenever this does like come out, or whenever we do get more info for this, best believe I'm going to be talking about that. I would like to talk a tiny bit more on like the actual rating thing, but wait. I might actually be able to. Hold up. Because the entire thing was in Korean, and hold up. Maybe I might be able to. I might be able to do something here. Come on. Yeah, no, this is all in Korean. I can't read this, sadly. I would really like to, but I cannot read the language, and thus I can't do anything. And so far, nothing's been translated yet, or it doesn't seem like anybody has taken it upon themselves to translate anything, which kind of blows. But whatever, I'll just have to wait and see until more info comes out, and then obviously when more info comes out, I'm most definitely going to be talking about that. Most definitely going to make content on this game, if and when it eventually drops. I'm like, just know this is gonna be the game that like this might be my second coming of Guilty Gear. And for those who know me, I'm a really big Guilty Gear fan. So for me to say that this is probably going to be that the second rendition of that, they know this is probably going to be the thing that I grind out the most. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for even more of that. Uh, and yeah, that's all I can really say. I would love to say more. I would love to talk more about like what I would actually like to see in a another or in a new Eunice game, but honestly, I'll just wait until we actually get info on it. And thankfully, since like Evo, Combo Breaker, things like that are coming up relatively soon, we could potentially start getting like more, like we could be getting drip fed information and everything like more through those, especially like things like Combo Breaker, since that is like a more smaller scale in the eyes of like Evo and everything else, since like that's the big one everyone's like sort of looking forward to in terms of like making announcements and everything. So I'll just have to wait and see until we eventually get some more news for that. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's Eunice. I'm very excited for Eunice. I legitimately can't wait for that to eventually drop and come out.
Round three.
Alright, and last and certainly not least, we are finally going to be able to talk about the Ed Boon, like all of the tweets and everything that he's been making for Mortal Kombat 8, because everybody's been really excited. I don't really care for Mortal Kombat like that, so whatever. I really don't care all too much, so I'm probably just gonna like breeze through this portion of the episode. But basically, if you guys somehow haven't been seeing, Ed Boon has been doing a tiny bit, a tiny little bit of tweeting every now and again, doing some Mortal Kombat 12 spoiler, or not spoilers, but like teaser trailer stuff. And essentially, one thing that he tweeted out, which is probably like the most important thing that he has actually tweeted out in regards to Mortal Kombat 12, if it is going to be called Mortal Kombat 12, is a video of it, and this is gonna sound like super cryptic, so like bear in mind, and like I'll have all the links and everything that I talked about down in the description. So once again, be wary, or like if you guys want to see all that stuff, but
Basically, it's a clock that starts at 9, from 9 goes to 10, 10, 11, and then from 11 it skips over 12 and then just goes straight to 1. And it's a weird like ripple effect thing and then it like goes to 1 and then back to 2. So, a lot of people, myself included, has speculated that this is most likely going to be another Mortal Kombat reboot, and it's gonna reboot the series, and like how Mortal Kombat normally does every like decade and a half or so. My reasoning for this, obviously, because of like how it skips over the 12, because everybody's been saying, oh, this is gonna be Mortal Kombat 12, and then it just goes straight to 1, starting the cycle over again, skipping 12, and then just going to 1. And that, and on top of that, people have also been getting like leaks into saying that this game isn't going to be, being called Mortal Kombat 12, like, the other predecessors of the Mortal Kombat series has. It's going to be called like, I think Mortal Kombat 1 and then the single quotation like asterisk thing. It's stupid. It's a stupid naming thing. I kinda don't like the idea of a reboot for several different reasons. One, more or less because I haven't really been like following Mortal Kombat for like a good like while, but I do know like the story, and essentially this series gets rebooted a lot to the point where it is very tiring to like keep everything together and coherent. So just once again, just doing another like reboot sort of just adds to that. Oh well, this is kind of like dumb and stupid. And I know you don't play fighting games for like the story and whatnot, but it's things like that that sort of do add a tiny bit to it. And that's sort of like my one big gripe, just that, and then everything else really just like falls into it. Like, oh, with the Ruby, then that means that like we're gonna get like old characters and everything, but we probably aren't going to be able to see the development of the characters that like a lot of people would like to see. Which I'm probably explaining that in a bad way, so like I'm gonna like sort of give an example. I'm like in the most recent years, I've been a really big fan of Scorpion and Sub-Zero's like relationship growing as of like recent, because after the stuff with Nine, after Bihan's death, they sort of like mull it over, they fix everything, they're cool, they're chill. The Shirai Ryu and the um whatever whatever Sub-Zero's like clan is called. I forget. Uh, not no, cause no. I was about to say it's called like the Kuai Liang, but no, the Kuai Liang is, I think that's his brother's name, not Bihan. Or no, I think Bihan's the one that Scorpion killed back in 9, or like however long ago, and then Kuai Liang's like the new Sub-Zero. I think someone might have to fact check me on that, but fact of the matter is, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Shirai Ryu, and whatever Scorpion's like or Sub-Zero's gang is, they're cool. They're chilling. They're growing old. They're passing on their wisdom to the newer generation, which like that's also another thing that I sort of just really, that's getting off topic, but that's one thing I didn't really like about 9, the fact that I would have really liked to see the rest of the younger like new generation, and not just like, oh, we're gonna bring back the past and then old versions of ourselves and yada yada. It just sort of alludes and teases to things that really could have been done better, or not even like teases, it's just like wasted potential. Cause I was actually a Scorpion Takeshi main back in 10, and I was like, oh man, I really can't wait to see what they're gonna do with him for 11. And then he's not in 11. I'm like, oh well, I'm not playing this game then. um, but oh well, like it's fine. It's fine. It's happened. I'm probably, depending on like the roster and what they actually do for 12 or whatever it's gonna be called, I might maybe check it out. I'm probably not going to though. Just Mortal Kombat's entire like scheme of block button and everything is also just like very like not gross, but it's very foreign to me now, especially after like, my big background in like traditional fighters, hold back the block, like, things like that. Maybe I might get into it if if they somehow do something that I'm like really interested in, but as it stands right now, we're only really getting teaser trailers. We're not really getting anything like concrete. Like, we're probably going to get something at Evo. Like, that's my best guess because that is coming up relatively soon. So hopefully we get an Evo announcement or something. Evo just in general is looking really stacked this year. Like, we have some heavy hitters. Like, this is probably like the best like time for fighting games outside of like the golden renaissance era of like the 90s when it first popped on the scene and Street Fighter 2 came out. We are eating very good, people. But I hope you guys are all excited for all of the Ed Boon stuff and everything with like Mortal Kombat 12. I'm probably not. I don't really care enough about it. I might check it out, like I said, depending on what they do. But safe to say, I'm probably not going to be playing Mortal Kombat 12. But oh well. But with that, that is going to do it for this week's episode for the Fighting Game Follies. I really do appreciate you for tuning in and listening. This week's episode, or like recommended run back, that yeah, this week's recommended run back is actually going to be a new game that I might maybe talk about later on in the future, depending on like how its development goes. And this game is none other than Idol Showdown. Really quickly, if you haven't been in the loop, there is a completely free, and I mean completely free, fighting game called Idol Showdown. It's essentially a like idol VTuber fighting game. It's like I think it's really good. I feel like it's solid. It's a really nice indie project. I think it's really cool. I find it to be kind of enjoyable. I know absolutely nothing about VTubers or anything. I only know about Kiryu Coco. I think the one dog one is Coca Noah or something. I don't know. I know those two and like or I know of those two and that's it. And if you're wondering, I'm currently playing the one like samurai sword chick because I find her to be very cool and I gravitate a lot more towards sword fighters and like characters with bigger normals that are not zoners because I hate playing against zoners. But I really do suggest you guys check it out. I think it's really good. I think the tutorial for it is actually really like solid and really good. It has a nice way of implementing simple controls, which I think is something that like a lot of people could actually take some inspiration from. It's obviously not going to work out for everyone, but I feel like its simple control style of like button and then if you actually do the motion input, then you get some sort of benefit. I think is really good. I know that Grand Blue Fantasy Versus did something like that, similar, in which if you did the motion input version, then like less time would be put on the actual special, and if you did the like spell or the simple input, then it would take more time for you to like for that move to recharge, which I don't think was like the best idea, but oh, I mean it worked, it sufficed, it did its job. But I really do think its simple input system is pretty solid. I think the game overall is pretty solid. I'm probably going to be following this. Like, I'm not gonna like heavy follow it and like constantly be keeping updates for it. But like, I will let you guys know if anything interesting catches my eye or if like a tournament or something comes up for it. I would really enjoy for this to like be something that gets played on like the smaller side tournament, like side event style things, because I think that would be pretty cool. But oh well. Like I said earlier, though, with all that being said, this has been the Fighting Game Follies. I will forever be your host, Grief for Games, Ziggy Skyward, Games.png. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really does mean a lot to me. Now that finals and everything are over, I'm going to be getting on this content grind, so uh, expect a lot of things. Expect streams and videos that don't take 4 months to upload and everything. And yeah, just like continue following the journey and stick around and find out. Like that's all. That's all I can really say. Just find out what we got in store. This is normally the part where I would say what I'm gonna be doing next week, but I don't want to spoil it because it's kind of fun. Actually, no, this isn't the fun topic. This is the semi-serious topic. Okay, yeah, never mind. Next week we're gonna be talking about company competition and like what that entire thing entails and how to like release a game on schedule and whatnot. So yeah, once again, if you're interested, be sure to check that out later on when that eventually drops. I'm Griff for Games. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow the socials. Tweet at me any fan art or anything that you see of fighting games. Be sure to enjoy Tears of the Kingdom. Not fighting game related, but like Tears of the Kingdom. Really good game. Yeah. And thank you. I'll see you all next time. Stay safe and continue playing fighting games.